Craziest Alexander the Great facts you didn't know. Alexander the Great is one of the most important figures in history. But how much do you really know about him? In this video, we will be going through the craziest Alexander the Great facts you didn't know. Number 6. Bloody beginnings. In 336 BC, Alexander's father, Philip II, was assassinated by the captain of his bodyguards during a wedding. It was suspected that Alexander had played a part in the assassination, but it was never officially confirmed. Despite years of debate over legitimacy and ancestry, the nobles and army declared the 20-year-old Alexander king at the same hour. Alexander, though, was not easily fooled, and he didn't want to end up just like his father. So to secure his reign, Alexander completely eradicated all possible heirs, including his cousin and 2 Lower Macedonian princes. As a newly crowned king, Alexander immediately destroyed the Greek opposition, launching an authoritarian rule. Alexander fought in the front lines in every battle. He was very big on encouraging his fellow warriors to do their best. He was never just a spectator, and the rail line was simply not for him. In each battle, just like any of his soldiers, he faced the risk of not seeing the sunset. He was always in danger of dying in Hades, as they would say to soldiers who died during battle. All his soldiers saw Alexander's back in every battle. Number 5. He tamed his horse at 10 years old. Alexander's father tried to buy a horse for him when he was only 10 years old. The horse proved difficult to tame, and his father wanted the horse taken away. However, Alexander became interested in this horse and noticed it was afraid of its own shadow. He made a bet with his father he could tame the horse by turning the horse towards the sun so its shadow was behind it. Alexander was able to climb into the saddle and gallop around triumphantly, to which his father said, "My boy, you must find a kingdom big enough for your ambitions. Macedonia is far too small." Thus began the first of Alexander's many conquests. Bucephalus was the name he gave to his horse, and it remained Alexander's faithful steed and best friend until it perished fighting elephant-mounted brigades in what is now Pakistan. Number 4. He liked to leave a legacy wherever he went. What would you do if you had absolute power? Some would get more riches, while others would look for immortality. In the case of Alexander, he tried to immortalize his name. He used this power to leave a legacy of cities named after him. Alexander celebrated his travels by establishing dozens of cities, most of which were built over past military garrisons, and were generally named Alexandria. The most prominent of these, created in 331 BC at the mouth of the Nile, is now Egypt's second largest city. Other cities bearing his name after his armies conquered them can be found in modern-day Turkey, Iran, Afghanistan, Tajikistan, and Pakistan. He took it a step further and decided that his favorite horse, Bucephalus, deserved to have a city named after him as well. Therefore, at the site of the Battle of the River, Alexander founded the city of Bucephalus. You might think him naming a city after his horse was a bit dramatic, but his horse was actually wounded in the Battle of the River, so this was his way of honoring him. If you are enjoying this video so far, then make sure you hit that like button and subscribe to our channel so you can know whenever we release another epic video. Number 3. He was one for the culture. Alexander the Great was pretty determined. In 330 BC, after he had fought for 6 years in the Persian Empire, Alexander conquered Persepolis, the longtime center of Persian culture. To the confusion of cultural followers in Macedonia, Alexander started wearing the striped tunic, girdle, and diadem of Persian royalty. It is believed he did this to maintain the respect of the people. He went even further, holding a mass wedding in the Persian city of Susa in 324, and forcing 92 leading Macedonians to marry Persian women. Alexander himself was married to 2 Persians. This king was big on leading by example. Number 2. Drinking dilemma. Alexander was known to be a heavy drinker. He was thought to be an addict by the time he died. He lived for war and victory, and he would celebrate the conquering of a city with a lavish drunken party. His mental and physical health began to deteriorate as he continued to drink. In one drunken burst, he argued with his friend and general Cletus the Black, killing him by throwing a javelin into his chest. This was the friend who had saved his life in the Battle of Granicus. Some believe that his early death may have been caused by alcoholism. Towards the end of his life, he became more and more disturbed. Alexander decided to give up a campaign strategy in favor of purposeless invasion, as he started to initiate more and more military campaigns. He began to drink whenever he wasn't in battle, inevitably becoming a drunkard and having excessive drinking episodes, in which he lost all his critical thinking. He defeated the Persian Empire's religious capital, brutally murdered priests, and burnt down multiple libraries, all at the encouragement of a prostitute. Number 1. How did he die? This stands as one of the greatest mysteries of the ancient world. Assumptions of how Alexander the Great died include alcohol addiction, wound infections, emotional pain, natural illness, and even murder. However, factual information is scarce as to what happened. Many historians agree that he may have been bedridden for almost a week, presumably with a fever. Alexander the Great became ill after consuming a large quantity of wine at a party. It was also believed that he died 2 weeks later. Considering the fact that Alexander's father had been assassinated by his bodyguard, suspicion fell on those close to him, particularly his general Antipater and Antipater's son Cassander. Other ancient biographers speculate that Aristotle, who had ties to Antipater's family, was implicated. Since the cause of Alexander's death has remained a mystery for centuries, medical researchers in recent years have presumed that malaria, lung infection, liver failure, or typhoid fever could be the reason. Alexander the Great is one of the most influential people in history. He was well respected for his military tactics, and even though his life ended abruptly, it can be argued he lived a very fulfilling one. If you enjoyed this video, then make sure you watch this video right here.